What's up, folks? So I had somebody make a comment on here. I'm sorry, I forget your name. Don't hate me. Got a lot going on. Um, about some of the carving stuff and how I should have a couple things made that I had never heard of. Well, I did some digging, saw a few ideas, and decided to make my own. And I also put in a couple little fun features, which one of them didn't work, but this is only it's only the first attempt, and I intend to try it again sometime soon. So let's get into how we made it. To the miter saw first, I think it was. See with my younger self.
Hey, while I'm thinking about it, so did you guys know that you can support me for not spending a cent by hitting the like button, subscribing, and sharing my videos? Doesn't cost you a cent. Helps the algorithm see me a whole lot more, and it's totally free for you. It just takes 3 clicks. Just wanted to throw that out there. Thanks. Bye.
All right, folks. So to start off with these things, I'm going to start. I don't like this knot hole. I don't like this knot hole. So this is going to be our top. We're going to cut this down. And then, yeah. Okay. Got our plan. You know what? I'll do this so you guys can actually see what we're doing for the cut. Before I make that cut, that is not what I thought it was. All right. All right. I don't see what I thought I had, so we're going to do this. Don't forget, keep your mitts clear. So this is a piece for the bottom. And for this one, we want about a hair over an inch. If you didn't know, first joint of your finger for most adults is approximately an inch. So if you're ever out and in a hurry, or just building like I am right now, you can use that trick to not have to grab a tape measure. And I use it more often than you'd realize. I don't know if this is a factory edge or not, so I just want to square everything off. That's why we square everything off. All right. So there's our main board. Here's these. We're going to be coming back to the miter saw in a little bit. And we're off to the table saw. All right. Table saw is currently set up for a different project I was working on. It sounds like it needs a little bit of grease. All right. I always like to drop my blade too low and then bring it up because it's more likely to lock into place and not shift on me. All right. That's a hair over halfway through. Now, if you have a dado stack or router, you can do this with that instead of doing this the way I'm going to. But I want to show you guys another way of cutting stuff in here. For the way I'm going to do this, I need a crosscut. If I had a sled, I would use it. I don't because I'm lazy and never made one. The only sled I've ever made was for box joints. So this is my super fancy miter gauge that I use with this. I just pop it in here. Pop that in. And I want to put you guys on. We're back. So for this, I want about 1.5 inches behind it because I don't want it too far, but I also don't want it to be too flimsy either. So, yeah. All right. I got to turn on the dust collection. Yes, that's all the louder my shop vac is, and I absolutely love it. And now for the real saw. Before I do this, after every cut, I'm going to kick this fence back away from us about 1/8 of an inch. Because the blade cuts about 1/8 of an inch, so that way I'm going to take it back. We're starting at 1.5 inches. And I'm going to take it to about 2 1/4. When I hit a little over 2, I'll shut this down, and I'm going to grab the back blocking piece to get a test fit in so we can fine tune the final fitment. Just so you guys know my plan. And I'm about to do this wrong. Make sure if you got something you don't want on it, make sure it's up, because that groove we're putting in there is going to be the top that's going to be the work surface. So, cool, that is recording. I need to start my table saw. That's what I forgot to do. All right, so here we go. Oh, one other incredibly important thing about a table saw. Never do this if you're cutting through the entire piece. It's too likely to bind up and shoot the piece out. I don't have any clips of that happening to me because I'm careful about that. But it did cost me a fingertip because I wasn't thinking one night. Do not cross cut it with a table saw with your fence on there. If you need to do that, grab a piece, measure the offset, put it on there, set it there, so then when you go forward, this piece stays behind, so that way you're holding it in air with this. Incredibly important safety tip. Now we're back to it. One more. This will be for 2 1/8. All right. If you didn't hear me, we're at 2 1/8 now. So you can kind of get an eyeball, because this is supposed to be 3/4 inch material. This is why I always try to stop early. Future reference, if you're doing this with 3/4, stop at 2 1/16. It's not always necessarily perfectly 3/4, and this might not even be 3/4. It might be like 11/32, or that's the wrong size, but it might be just a hair under 3/4, because sometimes they sell boards like that too. Now, you can see those ribs in there. You can see the ribs in here. You can knock those loose once you get a nice tight fit with just your other board. All right. And this is all of our major components for the holder I'm working on. But like I warned you before, we got to go back to the miter saw. So I'm going to turn you guys 90 degrees right now. Hey, look, it's the miter saw. Get my phone out of the shot. All right, sorry, I got distracted. Now, in order to do this the way I wanted to do it, oh, of course. We're just going to take the dust bag off for the first one. All right, so our first cut is going to be 45 degrees. Okay, because I want this side to go. This is what we're going to push into, so I want this knot on the back because it's not going to cost too much for stability, but all right. All right, here we go. First cut. There's our first piece. I'm just setting it off to the side. Our next one's going to be at 45 as well. If I didn't mention, that's where I'm cutting this. Anytime you're doing this, just make sure, for the love of God, your fingers and hands are clear. All right. So this is what we got cut. Where's it? There it is. So you'll see why when we're done. That might be a bit wider than I wanted, but it should still work. Now I'm going to put my dust bag back on this saw so I don't lose it. Pop that over, lock that down. All right, let's head over to the workbench and we will finish the rest of this up. All right, so we got this. I got my sander. I'm going to sand all these up, get these rough edges off. We're going to do that on a time lapse just for video's sake. And then I will show you guys how we put these together, as well as the couple sneaky ideas I've got that I want to add to it. So I'll see you guys after a time lapse. And we are back. Got everything sanded up. I know I badmouth cordless sanders. This is one of the only ones I've found that I actually like. It's not great for big projects, but for doing a single thing like this, it knocks it out in no time. It's just a pain getting 6-inch sanding pads. And it's a pain to get the battery out, which you don't want to release. So, where'd my other part go? All right. Okay, so for this, we want everything to pop in over here like this. And then pop that in there like that. All right. I want this piece off because that's going to be the last one we add. We're going to pull this out. We're going to start by gluing this in. I'm going to set that on my drill bits. All right. We're just going to hit this with a little bit of wood glue, and that's way more than I wanted. All right. All right. All right. Fun little trick too, if you're ever using wood glue and you get a little bit on your hands, just rub them together. It dries almost instantly. All right, now for this, because I don't want to wait for this to dry, we are going to pop that on there. And then I'm going to grab a 23 gauge pin nailer, 23 gauge. I do like to do them at a little bit of an angle like that too, because it just helps. It gives you a little bit more holding power. Nothing blew through. And just so you can see what it actually looks like, you just keep your fingers clear. And then I always like to go the other direction. That way everything stays good. Because you want everything to get in there as deep as you can get it. And I thought I had a hammer over here. Apparently I don't. I'm still getting my shop put together and trying to get stuff organized where it should be. So, all right, well, I'll be right back. Okay. So I just shot it. I can't get the magnets to work in there like I was going to try. I'd misdrilled this, so I'm going to try it again on a later project. But for now, that'll work. And that's got a little nick in there. I ain't worried about it because it'll be good. So from here, if I'm working on a spoon, I can pull that, and I've got everything I need to do for a spoon. But the problem you're going to run into with the way everything's at now, all right, say you're carving away. I thought I had a little piece of wood here. So say this is my workpiece. If you're cutting, it's going to keep trying to run away from you, right? So what we're going to do to combat that is pull this because it's not going to sit in there very tight. Flip this over. Then we're just going to pop that right on there. Yay, they're long enough. I wasn't sure. All right. And I am out of nails for this, but that way that'll hold. And then I just need to clean up some glue. All right. There's our extra glue. And once that's dry, you can yeah. So now it locks in and won't go anywhere. I'm rather excited to give this one a shot. Should be great for doing books and stuff that's small, so I don't have to keep cutting into my hands. So with that, we will say cat in the hat, and that be that. Show you guys how we finish this up at a later time. Peace. Be safe in the shop. Keep making.